What up, world? It's your boy Chuck Wick Ills, aka Charles Brown, back again with another review. But first things first, how you doing? You good? Good. All right. So, this time I'm gonna talk about your boy K.O.D, North Carolina's best, cream of the crop, top five. I'm a little just like the last time. I didn't do this review immediately as soon as the album was released. I waited. I listened to this. I think at this point, I may have listened to this album from beginning to end maybe 5 times. Maybe 5, maybe 6 times. I watched the videos. I haven't watched anyone's review, to be honest with you, because I didn't want to taint my own review. I haven't watched, after this I'll watch mad reviews and things like that, but I haven't watched anyone review this album. I haven't watched any other critic, for lack of a better word. I haven't watched their take on it because I want my own take. And my take, I got a lot to say about this, basically because I feel like I'm right where I was with the last one. So, K.O.D, Kids on Drugs, King Overdosed, or Kill Our Demons. This is J. Cole's 5th album. I am a fan of J. Cole in theory, because I am a hip-hop fan. I know what perfect hip-hop is supposed to sound like. I know what the elements of a classic hip-hop album, whether I am fully engaged in it or not, does not mean an album cannot be a classic. I understand that. I don't have to like an album for the album to be a classic. Now, I can't think of many classics that I don't like. I'm sure there are a couple albums for you Tupac fans that are classics. I don't have a full Tupac album that I can say I really feel sonically, for me, that's a classic. Now, Illuminati, All Eyes on Me, Me Against the World, Tupacalypse, they are all considered, especially the first Pac album, first and second, are considered classics. Me personally, I don't bump those albums. I know a lot of Tupac songs. I have mad respect for what Tupac did for this culture. But if I'm like, put on, let's just go nuts, let's get some beers, we're gonna listen to hip hop all night, and I'm the DJ, from you give me 4 or 5 hours of old school hip hop, it won't be a lot of Tupac. It's gonna be a couple songs, but it won't be 25 Tupac tracks. Just say that. And it is what it is. It's for whoever feel a way. It is what it is. Not saying he don't have classic albums. He has a lot of classic songs. And I say that to say this. This album, J. Cole body of work as a whole, this dude does very well as far as what we expect as connoisseurs or veterans of this hip-hop movement, this hip-hop thing that we have, that has been bubbling since the 70s, that really took its hold in the very late 80s, the last 2 or 3 years of the 80s, and then in the early 90s, and it became what we revere to this day as pure hip-hop. That was cemented in that Tribe era, that De La era, that era right there, on both sides of the coast, MC8 and all of that good stuff. That element, that era right there, that 6-7 years has defined what we feel. If your music don't sound like that 6-7 years, I want to say between 88, 89 and 96, 97, 98 pushing it. You know what I'm saying? Like around 98. So let's say 88 to 98, around that box of time. And that's damn near 20 years ago. If your music don't reflect some portion of that era, it's going to be very hard for anyone to say you have made a classic album. So with that being said, J. Cole makes music to me within that vein of hip-hop, within that era of what we like to call the golden age or classic era. J. Cole right now in 2018 releases with his own production, mind you. That used to be me, making my own beats, making my own, sounds. It was just the feel that I wanted. I used to do mad production. I probably did more production than I did rapping. And all my beats I rapped over. And that's what J. Cole, this is very rare right now in this new era, that a guy gonna make his own beats and rap to his own beats and be successful with his own beats. It comes with a cost. It comes with a cost. Because when you're making your own beats, your beats are based on how you feel. And how you feel is going to be determined of where you're at in your headspace. If you're in a turn up headspace, your beat's going to be turn up. If you're in a melancholy headspace where things don't look that bright, but you're looking to the future and you're hoping for better, but right now it feels kind of not right, those are the kind of beats, that's the feel you're going to get. This slow tempo, this, lack of a better word, boring for some people type of production style. Now that's subjective. That's based on your particular desire or your own ear. But some people will say it's boring, some people will say it's eclectic, some people will say it's unique, some people won't mess with it at all. We got all those kinds, but at the end of the day, they all listen to it. Therefore, this guy, #1 album again, no matter what you felt. I saw a lot of different, I didn't watch any reviews, but I seen a lot of tweets. I seen some Facebook stuff. And I'm gonna be honest with you, some of these people, some of the things they wrote wasn't fair. I seen a guy who's a rapper. He's like on the come up, and he wrote, "Jay, I'm sorry, Jay, I used to mess with you, but this album has too many highs. It's too much turn up for me. You sound like you're trying to go commercial and I can't rock with it. You used to be boom bap and I don't know what this is and I'm all set." I saw it on Instagram. And I was like, wow, that's one kind of take. You know what I'm saying? That the album is too turnt for him. I mean, he really wanted some straight up, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to take it back to the fat boys, skinny boys, and all of this and that. Like, he wanted some KRS mixed with some Redman. Like, I'm like, wow, so you thought this was this was too turned up? All right, so whatever. So that's his opinion. My opinion. Let's get to my opinion on this album. Just like with the last one, I'm starting to understand right now. J. Cole is telling you who he is. Don't listen to a J. Cole album expecting it to be something different. This guy is not like Andre 3000 where he spins on a dime and the next album he could be doing anything wacky and goofy. It's not. Andre 3000 is a classic in his own right. He's a master at this craft. But he ventures way left, way right. You never knew where it was going. And it was never one thing. J. Cole is becoming, to a lot of people, one thing. With good reason. I think that the last couple albums have been exactly what you expected. If you are either a J. Cole lover or J. Cole hater, you expected them to be a certain way, and they are exactly like that. I don't think he diverts a lot from his formula, which again is in that golden era for the most part. Yeah, he does a little, sometimes he'll throw a couple highs in there and he'll do a little more trap-ish, or, you know, he'll go a little new school with it. But for the most part, to me, it sounds like he's using a SP1200 or something, an old machine, and he's using old drum kicks and kits and snares and break beats, and, you know, finding his way the way he wants to hear it with his own ear. Now, like I said, I needed to listen to this 5 times. I didn't want to do the review the first time I listened to this. I could have did a review the first day it dropped. I didn't want to, because again, just like on the last review, I needed to hear it again. If I would have gave it a review off of what I first heard it, I would not have been as generous as I am right now. I don't think Cole makes music that you can digest in one listen. I had to listen to this. Every listen, it got better. And I know some people say, if you got to listen to something that many times, then it ain't good. If it got to grow on you, then it couldn't have been that good. No, it's not that it grew on me. It's that I needed to hear it. I needed to hear it. Like, not just a quick boom, boom, boom. I needed to hear all the nuances. I needed to hear where he was going with this whole verse, where that whole subject was going, where that whole topic was going, where that beat. Why did he do that? Why did he put this type of skit there? I mean, by the 3 or 4 listens before I realized the Richard Pryor skit wasn't bragging. It was in reference to the track of what he was trying to say on the track about money. It wasn't that he's trying to brag and show you he got all this money. It was a reference to lead into what the topic was. But had I reviewed it after the first listen, it would have been a different take. Just like with the last album, I had to listen to it. I waited probably, I don't know, 3-4 weeks before I put that review out, because I needed to digest it. I couldn't even listen to it when it first came out. And the same with this. This one, I listened to it immediately. As soon as it dropped, I listened to it. As soon as I heard it was coming out, I think it was like 2-3 days notice. He did the listening party, and then he had the rollout. They were saying something about, oh yeah, it's gonna be K.O.D, whatever. The track listing dropped, then the album, the cover dropped, and it was like, it's coming. So it is what it is. I listened to it off the rip. But again, my first initial spin was one way. Second one, another. Third one, I bumped it up a notch every time I heard it, because it got better. I had to see where he was going. My ear is not so far gone that I can't hear a classic if it's in that era of 88, 89, 98. If it's coming from that vein of music, I'm not so far removed from it in this era right now that I can't understand what someone's doing with that music. But at the same time, I need to kind of rewind myself back a little bit to sit in that zone. Now, I'm not saying all this music is that kind of zone, but there are melancholy moments on here, and there are moments of, he looped a jazz sample, put a kick and a snare and a high, let it ride. That's 90s. That's 90s stuff. We did that in the 90s. You would go through a whole crate of jazz stuff, sit there for 4 hours and play all these different jazz records and get one loop, take that loop, boom, that's it. You got the loop right now. Then you just put the kick, the snare, and you go find some horns on another record. Then you go find a flute on another, and then that's it. You wouldn't get too complex. Right now, the beats are a little more complex. They do a lot more switching up, a lot change. It's different. So I had to put myself back in that zone of, this is a place. I was in this space where he is 20 something years ago. This it's complex. It's a complex space that he's in. I'm going to say that. And it's not a place where you go immediately. You live there. This is not, J. Cole is showing you who he is. This is not a place that he goes, he visits this place and then he comes back and then I believe this guy, this feeling of this album, this is his, when he wake up every morning, this is how he feels. This is how he lives his life. I know I said melancholy, but it is to me. It is to me. It is a, I don't want to I don't want to say depressed, but it is a I'm looking for the right words because I don't want to discredit what it is. It's powerful. I think this guy has created his own subconscious, his own space, and this is where this music comes from. Luckily, it's successful. J. Cole could be one of the greatest guys you've never heard of. This guy is literally, his formula is career suicide. It's career suicide. And for this guy to do what he do, 174 physical copies, 397,000 additional album equivalent units. So this guy, the top of the charts. This dude knocked Drake. He sold more than views. He sold more than views in the first week, bro. Like, this guy, the dreaded up, the I'm not gonna say he's anti-new rapper, but they don't seem to click with him for some reason. These young kids seem to take everything he says as a diss when he's just talking to you. He'll just say, "Come here, young boy, let me talk to you." They like, "Oh, you lame ass jet." You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I listened to 1985. I don't see the diss. I don't see the diss. It's the headlines. Oh, J. Cole disses Lil Pump or whoever it was. Whoever it is. And Smoke Perp and all that. I'm listening to the song and I'm like, where he diss him at? He said, "I heard a young dude saying my name, blah, blah, blah. I ain't mad at him." He's just talking. Where's the diss at? I didn't hear no direct bar. It's an older dude putting his arm around a young dude trying to tell him, look, this gonna happen to you, that's gonna happen. Didn't learn how it's gonna roll with it. This dude come back on Instagram, lame ass jet, then he go buy a house that he can't afford. Let's be clear. This gonna be a story of Lil Pump buys a $7 million house. 3 years, Lil Pump sold the $7 million. Come on, man. Like, this is this. We've seen this before. So we all know all this label stuff. When you get these deals, you got to get the money back. So let's see what happened. So for some reason, the new generation, they're not syncing up with Cole. They love him, but they hate him. And the more intelligent ones get it. They understand. The more sophisticated kids, they're getting this. They understand what he's trying to do. Now, like I said, this is career suicide for this dude. Because the simple fact is, you got this whole, I'm gonna drop knowledge almost all the time. I'm not gonna try to pander to anything simplistic. This is gonna always be about lyrics. It's gonna always be about bars. Everything I do is gonna be top level, top notch, high caliber, high quality. No surrender, no retreat. It's always gonna be the way I want. I'm doing my own beats, no features. I'm not gonna be catering to none of this shit. And when I do come out, I'm gonna tell y'all that I ain't doing no features because y'all don't deserve to be on my shit. So, well, who else can do this? Please. There's only 3 guys in the game that could be at this level and do this whole thing with no features. This whole thing is like you're asking for a nail in your coffin. This is not how this is done. If this guy wasn't so successful, it would be pathetic that this guy is such a loner. It would be an OC situation where OC was so nice. Like OC was so nice. But OC did not play the game. OC was the greatest you never heard of. OC never ever wavered. Like even De La Soul would do a song that clearly was pop. Clearly. Even KRS-One, they all did it. LL Cool J did a bunch of pop songs. All of them would do something pop. You never caught OC doing that. J. Cole is OC if OC had the right cosign. And yeah, Cole, okay, he did his pop stuff in the beginning. But he had to do that. You heard him. Jay wasn't putting nothing out unless it was right. It is what it is. Jay's a businessman. He's not going to put out something to make it flop. So yeah, Cole did his little pop stuff. But that, anybody could do something pop in the beginning of their career. Do a third album with nothing pop. Fourth album, nothing pop. Fifth album, like, then we talking. When you on your fourth, fifth record, and now, because Cole ain't been doing nothing pop for a minute, and this guy still does bigger numbers than pretty much, he right there with anybody. You name anybody. He doing Kendrick, he doing Drake numbers, he doing whatever. He doing pop star numbers. Knock a Taylor Swift out. So it's like, yeah, he did pop in the beginning, but at this point, this dude is doing straight up. This is that guy that comes to the open mics with his hair braided up. He got a pair of Jordans on. He probably dolo. And if you give him the mic, he gonna spit. Probably half the show gonna be off the head. And the other half gonna be shit that the crowd gonna be like, what? Only the real head's gonna even bob to it. And he gonna be in a cypher at the end of the night trying to rip the site. He's that guy. He's that guy so addicted to rap that he's listening to your every bar. He's listening to your similes, your metaphors, your punchlines. He's listening to your concepts. He's listening to your passion, and then he's bringing that same energy right back. He doesn't care about the hook. He doesn't care about how hot the beat is. He's like, is it a beat that he like? Is it dope? And it's career suicide. You don't normally, I can't name anyone who had a career of this caliber, who sold this many records for this long with his marketing strategy. There is no one. I don't think we can name a person that has this ability that somehow Cole has gathered in his time as an MC. This is an MC's MC. And I say it to say this. MCs are in short demand, and it's not a lot of people who get MCs. For somehow to be a real MC but to touch pop culture the way he has is amazing. This does not happen. You cannot be this melancholy, this serious, because this guy is mad serious about everything. I mean, you saw, you know, his stuff is deep. This dude, all the time, he's become what you tell your artist not to be. Too serious, too conscious, too heavy, too deep. He's all of that. And for some reason, people are gravitating to that. It's saying something about society that people aren't as dumb as you think. But everybody can't get away with this. So with that being said, I had to really listen to this. I had to go to the place that he's in. I had to get into his bubble. And it took a couple of listens to get into this bubble. Now I got in it and I'm there with him. He's talking about drug abuse, addiction, depression, all of that. You don't get that many people even discussing that. You know what I'm saying? You got to look for them. They're not on the mainstream. They're not up on your Twitter feed. You got to find them. So, with that being said, I'm going to talk about K.O.D. I'm going to talk about J. Cole album. This guy is amazing. Like I said, I know what a classic supposed to sound like, and I know what falls short of a classic. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you something's a classic just because I like every song. That's not how this works. I know a lot of people are divided on this album. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm just gonna go song for song, and I'm gonna tell you at the end what I think about this album, because I feel like it's important. It's an important piece of work. So let's go song for song. K.O.D, J. Cole, Rock Nation's own, Jay-Z's artist, all that good stuff. And I don't even know where that relationship's going, but it is what it is. So, track 1, intro. Intro is a hard, I'm sorry, it's not hard. It's jazzy, reflective. Sounds like a Spike Lee movie is about to start. The female on it sounds like I'm watching the Animatrix from back in the day. The robotic, soft, digital female voice, bringing in the album, telling you, pretty much giving you a sense of where it's going. Again, melancholy, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like bleak, in my opinion, to a degree. And it starts you off. It's only a minute and a half, a little bit more. Starts the album off. So you're like, where are we going from here? This could turn you on or turn you off. If you think this is sleepy time music, this right here, you're like, see, this the bullshit. This shit is whack. Like right here, you already lost. I like this. This is cool. So let me go to the next one. K.O.D, track 2. This is a newer flow. It's a hard beat. I think he's going for like a more of a he wanted to bounce on this. He wanted that trap feel. He wanted that, you know what I'm saying, for the dudes that's already sleeping on him. He wanted to be like, you know, let me set this off from the very beginning. You talking about I need features? Nah, fuck that. Ain't gonna be no fucking features. Can't nobody rock with me. Fuck you. That's what it is. And that's basically what this song is. This shit is a headbanger. Oh shit, like yo, it start off hard. I think that this probably is second hardest, probably the hardest song on here. This is for people who only listen to the first song and won't listen to nothing else. That's for that song. That's for that dude. They'll skip the intros. Say, what's the first song? They'll go to this song like, oh, this shit's banging. And then they'll get on Twitter and say, this album hard as shit. They didn't finish the first song. That's what this is for. Second song, actually track 3, but it's the second actual song. Photograph. Slow, repetitive guitar. He's speaking about like Instagram chicks or guys or whatever. If you're a girl, it's about a guy. If you're a guy, it's about a girl. Just Instagram chicks and seeing people online, digital relations, things about that. It's just about, to me, him just talking to someone that he feel like he can't have, and he met her through a photograph. And I like the concept. A lot of people don't address these things. A lot of people's stuff is very basic. His stuff is layered. This song is layered. It's talking to somebody that you really don't know, but you feel like you've known them forever, or to someone that you do know and you met them just off some Instagram, or just met them in the inbox, and this is where it went. It's a dope record. It's very conceptual. If you don't like conceptual stuff, you're not gonna like it. And if you don't like beat slower tempo music, most of this album is not for you. It's boring to you. So you're gonna give it one listen. You're gonna move on to some whatever you listen to after that, some Smoke Purple song. So this is a good track. Next song, The Cutoff, featuring K.O.D, who is basically, I guess it's him or whatever. This is to me, it's very, this song is two extremes. This is Andre 3000 and then Big Boy. This is like an Outkast record to me. It's you got Andre in the beginning, then you got Big Boy. I'm talking about as far as the hook. It's about a lot of, to me, complex issues when you peel back the layers. It's loyalty, alcoholism, death, things like that. just stuff that a lot of people won't talk about, but this is what you're gonna get every time you listen to Cole. You're gonna get these deeper topics, and this is why we listen to this. We don't put on Cole for anything else but some deeper topics, which could either be the gift and the curse. Next song, ATM. This gives me like a nostalgic old school feel on the last part, or on the first part of the hook, and then it switches to that bouncy piano. It's about money talk, but I don't think it's just money talk for the sake of money. I think it's more of a third person. He's telling you the experience that a person who does those things for money, that what their experience is, and how they look at the money that they're making and things of that nature. I feel like he's mixing old with new. With most of this album, I think he's taking principles of an old school album and putting it into a new school feel, and I think it's working. I know I said I had to listen to this stuff a lot of times. This is one of the songs I had to listen to a couple times and come back to, like, do I even like that? I don't really care for the video. I don't like the video, to be honest with you. It is very, again, that's like 1998. That looked like some old Hype Williams, Missy Elliott, like, to me. So it's like everything he does is rooted in that golden era, or the end of the golden era. When rap started changing into more of a whatever. He's trying to show you when rap got real glossy. That's what he's doing in that video. Again, I don't really like the video, but the song is cool. Next song, Motivate. Sort of a southern, sort of trap, it's catchy, new school hook. It sounds like, to me, it sounds like he makes these beats with an old school machine. It sounds like I don't think he probably using Pro Tools and the most sophisticated shit ever, but to me it sounds like he's using a drum kit that is more I don't want to say antique or like, but it sounds more old school, more, for lack of a better word, it's more, geez, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Some to the degree where it feels that golden, that classic era. I think that's what he's using. He's using something with a feel that we used to use, and he's bringing that back. It's like these guys want to use these old Korg organs, and they want to bring back all these dusty ass machines and use 1/4-inch plugs instead of digital. They just want to do stuff that old school way. This stuff feels like that, and I think that's what, I don't know for sure, but it sounds like that. So that's Motivate. All this stuff it's hit or miss. Like, all this stuff is good to me, but like, just like with the last one, I'm not as enthralled in it like everybody else. I love what this guy's doing. I respect what he's doing, and I don't have any qualms about he does not make whack music. He does not make whack music. Anyone saying this guy makes whack music is bugging. With that being said, all of this stuff I'm not going to listen to. Motivate is dope. A lot of this stuff is dope. Kevin's Heart. I'm moving on to the next one. It's an ode to male relationships. It's complex. It's about cheating and a guy's mentality when he does cheat. Someone who's being open and honest about what he did and how it made him feel. This was one of the few ones that wasn't produced by him. It says produced by T- and Mark Pelly, and it feels different. You can tell that it's different. It has more of an R&B-ish feel, and it's a cool song. This is not something I'm gonna be bumping a lot. It's not really for me, but it's cool. I have no problem with it. The video was different. The video was unique. Good thing he got Kevin Hart. That's the kind of stuff that he can do. Everybody can't do that. But again, there's nothing whack on this album. There's nothing whack on this album. And I'm gonna tell you how I feel at the end about the final grade. Next song, Brackets. This is the one with the Richard Pryor intro. It's a chop break beat. He chopped the break beat, then he added some little some little stuff to it and just made it a little more intricate. It's slower. It's introspective. It's about, you know, his money woes and his black community issues, voting, just different topics. Very conscious. Just speaking out loud. Just telling you where he's been, what we need to do, why we do what we do. Same stuff K.O.D does. This is what you expect. So again, we're right there. That's track 8. There is nothing whack on here. I'm not going to tell you that anything's whack on here. So you might as well cut it off if you're waiting for me to say something's whack. Number 9, Once an Addict interlude. It's not really an interlude, it's a full-blown song, but it is what it is. This is where this master class of MCing comes in. This is where you get someone who mastered this game, a poet, a writer, this is an articulate description of a drug addicted mom. His drug addicted mom, we're going to assume. And this is someone who saw it so well, saw it so deeply. They etched every single detail of it in their mind, and they put it on paper and put it into a couple verses. And you feel like you're right there with this dude in his room while his mom is skied out of her face, and this guy is trying to cope with this and deal with this mom who still hasn't grown up. She's still like, he's almost the adult in the relationship. Is very good. This is why we admire J. Cole. Great song. Next song, number 10, Friends featuring K.O.D. This is another one that has a co-producer, Childish Major. It's another slow tempo. Most of the stuff is in the same lane. It's almost like a drug message. Meditate, don't medicate. It's trying to reach out once again to these kids who hit or miss. They either get it or they don't. He's trying to reach out, not just kids, just anyone. You rarely get an anti-drug message. This is, in my opinion, my take on this. This was telling all of us, don't just pop these pills, and don't just shoot this shit in your arms, or don't just sniff this glue, or don't do something stupid. Try to find another way to deal with these. It's impossible not to have anxiety in this day and age. It's impossible. But let's meditate. Let's find another way. That's my take on it. Next song, Window Pane. He's singing more reflective thoughts about his past and his current occupation. His woes again is deep. Is talking about just street life, gang stuff, gang culture, all kind of things, just in the black community, things that we sitting through every day, trying to figure out why we in this situation. And he's looking out his window pane. It's called the outro. It's not the exact outro, but it is the outro, because the last song is 1985. So Window Pane really wraps the album up as far as I believe Cole is concerned. I think 1985 is not for the album. It's for these other dudes that was talking shit, and he wanted to put it out there, but it's not a diss. It's like a TED Talk, like Charlemagne say. It's a TED Talk. It's something that, just to talk to these youths, and you can't talk to nobody that's young. They don't want to hear nothing. They don't want to hear nothing. So 1985, intro to the fall off. He's right. 98% of these rappers are going to fall off. There are guys from 4 or 5 years ago that you're like, where are they? It is not a joke. This is real. People don't want to hear that for the rest of their life. It's Mickey Mouse Club versus growing up, going to the Kennedy Center, being a serious adult. It's two different things. You can't last forever doing nonsense. We're not going to listen to Gucci Gang for the rest of our life. That's going to be that is what you call a novelty record. Novelty records stay where they are. They don't progress with time. They don't age well. They don't. So, like I said, 1985 is more of a conversation to a younger person than a diss. And I don't see all the hubbub about all the headlines that he was dissing anyone. So my whole thing with this album, like I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first listened to it, I was like, damn, this cold, but this like a C. I have to give this a C. And then I was like, I listened to it again, like, all right, I see where this is going. It's a B. It's still good. We need this in the culture. I listened to it even more. and I started to gravitate and catch on to some of the other stuff that I was like, oh man, I don't know. I didn't know where this was going at first. This is genius. This is not just a dude just throwing words on the paper. For all of that, for him making his own beats, for him having such eclectic and versatile flows and rhymes, he's living in two different time frames, and he doing both well. And for him staying true to himself, all of that, not just this album, not just this body of work, all of that, just being who he is and being able to drop this album. I have to give this album no less than an A. So I'm going to give this album an A. I think this album is very dope. I don't have any problems with it. Again, I think he's in a golden era, and I think that is something that you're going to have to accept. You're going to have to stop going to Cole looking for something different, special. You're getting something different and special. It's not going to change. You're going to get exactly what you're going to get from Cole. He showed you who he is time and time again. Stop going into it thinking you're going to hear a completely different. You're not. You're getting what you get. If that's sleepy time music, if that's NyQuil to you, then go to fucking sleep. At the end of the day, this is hip-hop in its purest form with someone who gets it. So I'm going to give this album an A. Shout out to J. Cole. Shout out to Rock Nation. Thank you for watching. Like it, don't like it. My name is Chuck with Ills Charles, a.k.a. The Good. Go watch Audio Liquor. We got more reviews on that channel. They're reviewing all kind of stuff. He got Sci-Hi the Prince and a couple other reviews on there. MC8. Go check that channel. Audio Liquor Magazine. CLBMG. Peace.